Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I have always said this. One of the worst mistakes that you can make is to treat the American people as if they're stupid. There's a couple things that I live my life by, and one of those very important mantras is exactly what I just said. Don't treat people like they're stupid and never underestimate your opponent. You know, there's a lot of dumb people, but there's also a lot of smart people. And there's also some dumb smart people, you know? People who may not have the highest IQ, but their emotional awareness and their ability to grasp common sense is still there. You know, the American people, whether Harvard graduates, whether they have multiple PhDs, or whether they grew up in a trailer park and work in construction, well, most of the time they get it. Most of the time they can tell when they're being lied to, and most importantly, they can tell when you're full of you know what. And boy, are the Democrats full of it. Let's just say that. After the last 3.5-year gaslighting campaign telling us that bidenomics is working and actually you're just dumb and don't understand economics, after years of this gaslighting nonsense, after all the damage it's done, after all the backfire, after focus group shows us that people aren't buying it and they're frustrated with it and feel as though the Democrats are completely out of touch, after all of that, Nancy Pelosi doubles down in the most horrific way. Well, maybe horrific's not the right term. In the dumbest way. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So like I told you, Nancy Pelosi thinks you're dumb. She thinks you don't get it, and she also thinks that she's so above it all and so powerful that when she presents ideas or when she presents herself in the media or in the left-wing media, the leftist media, that they aren't going to challenge her. But no longer is that the case, because even the media companies themselves know that this stuff isn't flying anymore.
And Joe Biden is doing that, created 9 million jobs in his term in office. Donald Trump has the worst record of job loss of any president. So we just have to make sure people know.
That was a global pandemic.
He had the worst record of any president. We've had other concerns in our country. If you want to be an apologist for Donald Trump, that may be your role, but it ain't mine. And he has the worst. I don't think that anybody can accuse me of that.
Aren't those jobs from the pandemic? Oh, you know, there was a pandemic. It was a black swan event that seriously shifted the numbers in the wrong direction during Donald Trump's last year. Did you see Nancy Pelosi's face? I mean, she was stumped, just shocked like a deer caught in the headlights. Holy frickin' moly. I wasn't expecting this left-wing journalist who's supposed to work for me to actually challenge my propaganda. Mainstream media journalists can't avoid these topics anymore. They can't just lie and expect that people aren't going to catch on. Even MSNBC knows that the whole Joe Biden created so many jobs and Donald Trump lost so many jobs narrative is complete bogus. Not to mention, most of those jobs are covered post-pandemic job losses. Well, most of it happened during the Trump term, right at the end. Joe Biden's supposedly amazing historic economic recovery has yet to even get the economy back to where it was pre-pandemic. All the jobs reports that they've released have been significantly modified down, and we're learning that a lot of those jobs are part-time jobs or government jobs. In other words, Joe Biden hasn't created jack squat. In fact, the last couple of months, we've seen a loss in full-time, meaningful employment. Companies are investing less and hiring less, and wages aren't keeping up, which of course is forcing people's hands to have to work multiple part-time jobs in order to make ends meet. This supposed Biden recovery has very quickly turned into Biden stagflation. They spent a lot of your money spurring the economy momentarily. The infrastructure bill, yada, yada, yada. A lot of money was again injected back into the economy, especially with the extra stimulus checks that should have never been printed, which led to hyperinflation, but big growth numbers. You know, a couple months we saw, 2-3% growth, or rather not monthly growth, but quarterly growth. But then of course reality set in, and now we have persistent inflation well above 3%, and actually a couple months of ticking up inflation, and a horribly stagnant growth rate.
At first quarter GDP, the annual rate 1.6% between January and March. The expectation was 2.4%. This is a much lower than anticipated number. As a refresher, the final 3 months of last year, growth was 3.4%. So we're going from 3.4% all the way down to 1.6%. The consumer is slowing down. Inflation remains high. The Atlanta Fed as of now, has their GDP now number at 2.7. So there you have it, 1.6%. First look at first quarter.
1.6% in Q1 of this year. Horrible. The economy is horrible, and everybody knows it. But these Democrats will show up on TV and straight up lie through their teeth. Karine Jean-Pierre will sit at that podium, asked a very clear question relating to the American voters feeling frustrated that Bidenomics has failed, and basically deliver a word salad response, which essentially could be summed up as saying, I don't know, Bidenomics is great and working.
Is the president frustrated that despite the fact that he continues to say what he has done, that some Americans are not feeling the impact of his policies?
Look, we have seen some consumer confidence go up over the past couple of months, and I think that's important to note. And so that is out there. That data is out there. Look, we're talking about a president who understands what it feels like to sit around your kitchen table and have to make difficult decisions. We get that. He gets that. This is why he's trying to build an economy from the bottom up, middle out. He's been very, very clear about this. Is a sympathetic president, so he gets it. So he's not going to be frustrated by that. What he's going to do is continue to do the additional work to lower cost and do everything that we can there, and to go out there and speak directly to the American people. I think that's the most effective way to do that.
It's so incredibly dumb. But of course, the dumbest part is really the Democrat response. They're so out of touch and everybody sees it. They're treating the American electorate as if everybody's stupid. You know, maybe your vote blue no matter who blue ain't on people are dumb, and they're gonna fall for the popular narrative, the narrative du jour, no matter what you say, but regular people aren't buying it. We keep hearing that Joe Biden created all these jobs. That lie was debunked 3.5 years ago. And then, of course, when that doesn't work, they whip out the classic, well, it isn't us, it's you. Flip the script, dodge accountability response. Actually, the problem is that the American people don't realize how much good we have done for them. The problem is we have a messaging problem. We need to get the messaging out there. Yeah, you do have a messaging problem, but it's not the one you think it is. It's not that the economy is great and people don't know it. It's that the economy is great and you keep singing its praise, and that's the messaging issue. You're total liars, scoundrels, and everybody knows it. Apparently, even MSNBC knows it. Donald Trump, the worst jobs loss president of all time. It's unreal that those words come out of anybody's mouth. We saw 3 years of incredible growth, controlled inflation, upward mobility, opportunity, more jobs, the lowest unemployment rates, and we're talking about significant life-changing employment, good jobs for American taxpayers. And they want to tell you that Donald Trump is a bad economics president with the worst track record on creating jobs and stimulating the economy, and that Bidenomics is the appropriate alternative. These people are nuts. They are nuts. They're the biggest liars, the most dishonest political actors you could possibly imagine. They once again prove why nobody should trust them and nobody should ever vote for them. I mean, absolutely horrible. If Nancy Pelosi is getting called out on MSNBC, if MSNBC is making Nancy Pelosi look bad, well then she must be real bad. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.